Today, I hooked up with Darth microtransaction, and with 500 plus hours under our belt inside of Diablo Immortal, we're here to give you guys the goods, the bads, and really a general impression of the game, what we think of it. Clearly, we like it enough because we're still creating regular content for it. Darth microtransaction, welcome to the channel, man. Thanks for coming through. It's nice to have you.
Thanks for having me, man. It's good to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, so you play every day. You stream Diablo Immortal on your Twitch. You put out videos on your channel. So you have a lot of experience inside of the game. I believe you said you were Paragon 90. I'm just approaching Paragon 80 myself, so I'm a little bit behind you. But we have some time in the game. We've played quite a bit, and I believe you're playing a Necromancer, am I right?
You got it right, and you're playing Barbarian, from what I understand.
So it looks like we actually check out each other's content, which is great. So let's start out with just overall impression. We've seen a lot of YouTubers completely leave playing Diablo Immortal. A lot of these people were, you know, Diablo 3, Diablo 2 players, people that were more into the PC side of things, and this is something new. But you and I, at least me, and I know other games that you've played, Raid Shadow Legends and things like that, we come from this space. So this whole pay-to-win stuff, it's stuff that we're familiar with and that we're used to, and we know how to maneuver around. So kind of let me know why you've been playing, why you're still playing, and we'll start there.
Sure. Okay. So originally, well, my main channel is, Darth microtransaction, not the DM one. So really, this was like a side project more than anything, to be brutally honest with you, because I'm always looking for a new game. Like I get bored really easily is my problem. So I've gone through like over a dozen mobile games and covered over a dozen mobile games on the channel over the time. I did Genshin, Dragon Champions, Calibri, Crystal Guardians, just like a million different random games. And so this one was really kind of that. And I just started covering it because it was going to be fun. It's Diablo. It's a big name. It's Blizzard. I played Diablo 3 like a pretty good amount because I used to take phone calls for like a living, and I'd work from home. And I would just sit there and I would literally grind a Whirlwind Barbarian while I was taking. So I was like, okay, I'll try it out. It was enough to make me want to, try it out. And so that's basically what I did. So I tried it out, and I've got this other channel that used to be a Marvel channel, and they killed off Marvel Future Revolution basically just by making a bunch of like bad updates. And so I just kind of had this channel like sitting here, and it's like, well, I want to try Diablo. It's going to be probably a big game. I know I already like Diablo anyway, and let's just try it. You know what I mean? So let's just try it. So I did it, and they were watching the video, so I just kept going. And then the game was, fun enough to play it, and the business side of things are going good. It's like people are watching it, and people are searching for it, which means people want answers to questions, not just to sit here and listen to people talk about pay to win all day. People need to know builds and stuff. So there is a market for people that legitimately just want to talk about the game. And so I just went with that. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
And now the game's not boring enough for me to walk away from it. I do get bored overworld grinding sometimes. There's other stuff I still like about the game, and so I'm still in it, and it's pretty much that simple.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, we took different approaches. You had a channel that you kind of converted over when Diablo Immortal launched. I took the approach where I grinded this channel for years from zero, turned it into something, and I'm happy to say that both of our channels, they're doing differently, but they're both doing well. And I think for the most part, we're both here continuously going to be creating content about Diablo Immortal, and you nailed it on the head. All the hot videos are how pay to win this is. It's because a lot of some of those large streamers and people really were hyping that up. But we're here focusing on this is how you're going to enjoy the game, right? And we've been putting videos out. This is how to enjoy it. This is how you do stuff inside of the game. But we're not here to just talk about our YouTube strategies, right? We're here to talk about what we like about the game. So why don't I start it out? I love a lot of things about Diablo Immortal. I've loved them for years, and that's why I decided to keep going with this channel with kind of the long vision in mind. But obviously, without harping on pay to win, because I really think the whole pay to win element only impacts a very small percentage of the game. People that are trying to push themselves and grind towards top tier, people that have the ability to spend that kind of money if they want to. I mean, I just love, my favorite thing about the game is doing a lot of the Immortal dailies, because my squad is Immortals right now, and doing them with friends. Every single morning, I hop up, I have my Immortal dailies, I jump into my warband, and I'm like, hey guys, who wants to run these dungeons together? We have to do them for the Immortals, run the Elder Rifts together, defend the Vault together, Keon's Ordeal. Really, something that Blizzard has said since day one is that they wanted this to be a social game, and I feel like in some places they may even force you too hard for it to be a social game. For example, on Hell 2, you need 4 people to run a dungeon, where sometimes it may be hard to get 4. And I think of me, you, we're content creators. We have these whole Discord servers built up with people that want to play with us and that are in our clans. But for
If it's
people that,
hard for us to get it,
yeah,
then it's like how's the average guy? Because if you go to Hell 3, Tomb of Furrier, we were trying to do that last night. It was boosted rates. We're like, let's do the Tomb. I needed a couple pieces from there. My buddy was playing Barbarian Kyre Mobile, needed a couple pieces from there. Like, sure, let's go try it. So we go to grind it, but it's like every about 2 or 3 runs, one guy's got to go feed his kid or whatever. So then he goes, and then you're stuck waiting for like 12 minutes for the next guy. Okay. And so then the next guy comes in. And the thing is, you don't even want that next guy. You don't even care about the next guy. You just have to have him to get into the god dungeon, right? And so it's really frustrating from that aspect, which is where I would definitely like to be able to run the dungeons without having to go into a party. I'm literally seeing people go into normal difficulty to go into hidden layers to farm the gems because they know the gems don't matter for the hell difficulty. They're just going there just to try to get the gems from the hidden layer because they literally don't want to wait around for a party, even do a hidden layer. So for me, the way I see it is as the game goes on, if less players are on the server, more people quit, the more people come into the game. And there's so many different servers that when new people come into the game, we're not going to be each server is going to be getting more players than are quitting. I just don't see that happening. Eventually, we're going to have a server merge, but until then, it's going to get harder and harder to find a group, especially when we consider the new people have to catch up to the higher difficulty in order to be able to party with them. So while the system makes sense from an MMO perspective, and I'm literally here for the same reason you are, like the social aspect is really good. There was this game called Summoner's Glory I was a sponsor for forever ago that I've since dropped, but they had a top overworld type of ARPG, sort of like Diablo Immortal, but it was way more gacha. But you could walk around and see the other people. What ended up happening is people would log in the game just to hang out in the town
yeah.
because people liked the social aspect of the mobile game. And there was a community that almost didn't even play the game. They just hung around and did pose together because you could do them together. It was like an event in the game. People would just talk. And so yeah, no, the MMO part of it's a big deal for me, especially when you see stuff like the Haunted Carriage. You show up and there's like 1 million people there. Like stuff like that's kind of hype, right? But they got to keep it hype by consolidating people, either server merging or dealing with the fact that we have to have 4 people for dungeons, because that's going to be a problem in the long run.
Yeah, I agree, but you already said it. Things that we've seen done in other mobile games, server mergers, all these things are very. I don't want to say they're very easy to do because I don't know the tech side. I don't build this stuff, but it's been done before. It's nothing that can't be adjusted or fixed, or servers merged together, or being able to move yourself to another server. These are all things that are going to be down the line. I mean, we're 1 month or 6 weeks into the game right now. It's not something that Blizzard needs to even think of right now, but in the future. I mean, they're Blizzard, man. They can do anything that they want to do. They know how to make games. They know how to do this stuff. But I think that the highlight is how you can do all this stuff with friends. Now, I also realize that that's kind of like a cop-out answer when I say that's like my favorite thing about Diablo Immortal. So I'm gonna go and say the grind as well. I love that I've put so much time into it, and there's still a few legendary pieces of gear that I have not unlocked. Now, I'm not saying that they're ones that I want to run, but I'm the collector guy. I want to have the essence for every single piece of gear so that if I ever want to switch something up, I can do that. I mean, I go and I stalk the best barbarians in the server, people that are at the top of the challengers. What skills are they running? What gems are they running? And you kind of look up to them a little bit to see. Now, obviously, they have different builds for different things, but I just want to have everything available. So grinding is something I love doing. Picking up my monstrous essence every day, try and get 30 of those a day so that I can grind my battle pass. Just since my days in Clash of Clans, grinding walls, getting enough gold so you can upgrade walls. I just like doing that stuff. And Blizzard, that's literally what Blizzard is. It's a grind of a game. If you don't like grinding, you really probably shouldn't play, or if you do, you're not going to ever get anywhere. So I think the grind is done well. I think the friend element is done well. I'll hand it over to you right now before I steal some of your answers.
No, I mean, I think you're pretty much speaking, you're preaching to the choir here. I think both of us are going to basically go back and forth agreeing with each other about these points. I will add a different one in it, which is that while I understand some people don't like the triple row aspect of it and the triple and all that and the RNG and having to get grinding the best pieces and set pieces take forever, so you got to keep trying to get triple. I actually like that part of it. Like, you're talking about the grind. I like the RNG part of the gear. Like, I'm kind of a big RNG guy. Like, I've spent way too much money in mobile games over the years just pulling stuff, not even for to get the things I'm pulling, but just to pull them for the fun of pulling them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's the kind of degenerate I am. And so for that reason, like, I enjoy the RNG aspect of legendary gear farming, because it's like when I'm rolling it and I'm identifying it, I'm waiting for that exception. I'm waiting for the bag to go yellow, so I know for a fact it's an upgrade. Like, I don't know, I like that stuff. I'm a sucker for it,
Hence
but
your
I do like that.
hence your name, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the irony, and that irony goes over a lot of people's heads. So I'm glad you got that one.
Of course. No, I agree. I mean, I'm totally on the same page. When the bag goes yellow, you know you got something new, or you identify a piece of legendary gear and you see those green arrows, it feels good. Even though you really probably don't feel it when you put it on, just actually attaining it is something that's really cool. So, what keeps you playing? Like you're a streamer full time. Like I have a full time job. I don't really stream that often. I stream casually, but I put out videos regularly. What keeps you playing Diablo Immortal day after day on your live streams and putting out multiple videos on some days as well? There's got to be something that's just catching you. In
You
addition
want to go
to
real here? I'll go real with you.
yeah,
You know
go
what
real.
keeps me playing? Life is not exciting enough at my point in life that something else is drawing me away from the game and making my business grow.
Hmm.
It's just not. There's not. I'm not excited about something right now. I practice piano. I practice guitar. I like rapping for the fun of it. None of those are anything I'm good at, but I like doing them. You know what I mean? But I don't have like super exciting passions right now. I got a motorcycle I ride, but I live in Alaska. Like the winters are long and boring here. I'm trapped inside. I have nothing to do with my life right now. So I'm playing mobile games, and for whatever reason, people like watching me play mobile games and talk about the mobile games. I stumbled into this. This wasn't, making YouTube was never the plan. I'm only a few years into this, and so for me, it's the fun of it. I mean, if you want a technical answer from a game point of view side of it, instead of like the realness of why I'm even here, like from the game, there's a million things we already talked about. I love a million things about the game: the dungeons, the other players, the Discord, the fact that I'm spending more time outside the game than in the game to talk about the game. Like, there's a lot of things I actually like about it. But like, there's not that many other good mobile games. Like, as much as I've dragged on this game, many people have dragged on this game. It's like, you're right. All of the points are right. You know what else? There's not a lot of good mobile games. Like, they're just not out there. And so if there was a better game right now that I was more interested in, I'd be playing that. But there's not.
I appreciate the honesty too, and that's totally true. But Diablo Immortal is not like, let's again take the hate out of it. The game is incredibly deep, specifically for a mobile game. There's not many things that have the depth that Diablo Immortal has. I mean, you could compare it to Diablo 3, and it's like multiple times what Diablo 3 was. I mean, people are upset about the microtransactions and all that in the game. It could be modified over time, or it could stay exactly the same as it is. With that being said, people are learning how to play the game and enjoy it in a way that works for them. So I'm glad that you're still playing, and I'm happy to see that you're having some success in your channel as well. And obviously, as a content creator, I'm in the same boat. That's motivation as well, right? Like, these aren't just YouTube channels; these are businesses. This is how we help support our families and our how we live. So having that success as well really does tie along nicely with it. But one thing, if I had to ask you one thing that is your favorite thing to do every single day inside of Diablo Immortal, it could be a general thing. What's the thing you look forward to the most every day?
This might be weird, but I actually like bounties. I feel like no one likes bounties, and they're factually bad, by the way. Like, if you run the numbers, they're just not good to do. But I like them because I like going to the side of the maps where it's like I'm not normally going to go. You know what I've seen a lot in this game is the Plains of Torment and Realm of Damnation. I've seen a lot of Plains of Torment. So what I like to do is take the bounties and run around the map and play a different side of the map, because when you're pushing Paragon, you're seeing this tiny little portion of the game. So everything I do is based upon this, like my judgment of the game, how I feel about the game, my experience of the game is only this little part, because I'm basically only logging in and playing 8 hours in one section of the map. Obviously, I'm going to get annoyed by the grind of it, but that's why I like the bounties, because it mixes it up. It makes you like, here's the map, here's other places. You normally run into an orange while you're doing it. You run into people you don't normally see. Maybe there's an event going on. I actually don't mind the bounties. It's a way to mix up your gameplay.
I completely agree. I'm totally the guy that'll go to the Realm of Damnation, because to me, I've been in the alphas and betas. The Realm of Damnation is the newest for me right now. I'll just randomly walk around as well, even if there's no bounties going on. Mostly looking for some monstrous essence that I need to collect, and just run around it, trying to hoard everything together, whirlwind them until they die, and it's just a lot of fun. So I think that both of you and I agree with all of the great stuff. So
Yeah, it's a fun game. There's no
It,
denying it's a fun game. I don't get when people say, "Oh, it's not even fun." It's like it is fun. I don't. For me, anyway, I like it. I mean,
I mean, everyone can have their opinions whether it's fun or not. Comparing it to literally hundreds of other mobile games I've played over the past 6 years. It's definitely one of the best ones for many reasons. But let's pinpoint maybe the worst thing. If you had to say one thing that you wish would be
oh,
changed inside of the game, what's it going to be?
I mean, okay. Are we talking other than legendary gems? Because
I guess other than like let's say other than it being pay to win.
in my personal opinion, I think the one change that they could do, which would probably instantly make the game better, is other than we've already talked about the dungeons. Okay, so that would be the answer, right? Fix the dungeons where you can farm in with maybe 2 players at a minimum if you want to make sure you have to do it with somebody. But at least you can play with a buddy, right?
Hmm.
Um, I think all they have to do is remove the fading ember cap that you can grind, the one for grinding without the crest. I think if you do that, that's all. That's all they have to do, and I think the game's like 80% better because literally just remove it. Everyone can just grind Elder Rifts, which will still give you experience, still give you Battle Pass, all that. Elder Rifts are fun, they're RNG. That was the original kind of cycle that you did in Diablo anyway, like you're grinding rifts. So it would be similar Diablo experience to me, and then you're not stuck on the same part of the map where you're just grinding in a circle, and so it gets so boring. It's different every time. I think that would make more sense. And then everyone's going to take those fading embers, excuse me, turn them into FA runes, take the FA runes, and then try to basically row for 5 stars. It's still slow, but at least you can do it.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's still not going to take them like years. You know what I mean? So that's my logic behind it. Like, just I think we can give them that one, in my opinion. Just remove the fading ember cap. It's really not that big of a deal, Blizzard. And people will just play the game more. And when they're in the game more, they're probably more likely to spend. The people who've been grinding it, they might buy a battle pass because they just spent so many hours grinding one gem that they're like, okay, I'm going to cheat for the next one, and they'll spend money or something. You might even hook people more in. So that's my logic anyway. If I could change one thing in the game, it'd be that I remove the fading ember cap.
That's really a great one, man. I mean, I said no pay to win option, but that really does allow the free to play players have a chance to get where some of the pay to wins will take. Whether it take a ton of time or whatever, at least it's not like completely capped off. So I like that answer. For me, I'd like to see what you want to add more there.
Oh, I was just gonna say, even if it's not necessarily about trying to like compete with the pay to win,
Yeah.
I feel like it also at least unlocks a portion of the game where it's like here's some content that otherwise seems like content that's just not something you can really do, regardless of if you're trying to win. I feel like it just kind of unlocks a different part of the game entirely and shifts the dynamic and meta of the game in a different way. And the way the game's set up, the only way to force the dynamic structure of the game entirely differently is by forcing people towards the legendary gems, I guess, because it's the only major power structure we have in the game, just due by the nature of the way they set up the power. So
Again,
anyway, go on.
no, I agree. I think it's a great way to break it down, and it's something that's super simple. Literally, get rid of a cap, and it opens up that part of the game for people. For me, I've always been a proponent for PvP, but I don't love the PvP system that's set in the past. I'm not going to go in depth right now. I have a bunch of videos that like talk about my ideas for PvP and what I want to see, but I would love to see more PvP for all players, not just for Immortals defending the vault, not just for Shadows, raiding the vault, not just for Keon's Ordeal or any of that Rite of Exile. I mean, just like literally a queue, like Battlegrounds, but that's even more casual and just easier to get into, and maybe where there's less of an objective. Battlegrounds, I mean, you and I, we're in there players. We play a lot, but for new people, they're gonna go into Battlegrounds, have no idea what they're doing. They're gonna have no idea the objectives. I want something that's simple, easy for people to jump into, and maybe where gear is and gear and gems are just less of a big deal, where you could just literally battle for fun, even if the rewards are small. Just just a way to battle in PvP without.
Battlegrounds are fun. I like that. I like that answer because like battlegrounds were what I spend the majority of my time doing like my first few weeks. Like I just loved doing the battlegrounds and I just kept spamming them basically over and over again. Your answer reminds me of another one that I can get away from my original answer, which is kind of cheating because it's about gyms anyway, is that the Shadow War needs a change where when people are going into the Shadow War, you have something to do for the 20 minutes. You need to reward people for showing up at least because what's happening is in the Shadow War, when they see it's a clan that's bigger than them, they just don't even show up. Like majority of my battles as the Immortal are against like 1 or 2 people or literally no one. Like I'll just stand there by myself as the big Immortal guy and there's no one to even fight because people don't even show up because they're bored. There's no rewards.
Yeah.
for it. So, in my opinion, in that 20-minute period, just have treasure goblins like spawn all over the place or something, or just have minions in there that people can farm, like literally anything. You're wasting 20 minutes of people's time, and so they don't show up because of that, and it's not that incentivized. So I think the Shadow War probably needs to be heavily incentivized, in my opinion, instead of just the top winner gets one legendary crest. It's like, come on.
You have some good ideas, man. I really like that as well. When you're just sitting around, give someone something to do, even if it's just button mashing to farm something.
Or another
It's a good idea.
assembly. Like, why can't we have another smaller assembly in there? Start shaking hands with your people. Get another collection of marks, more experience. Won't that be on theme? I
Hmm.
don't. So for me, it just seems like there's a huge missed opportunity. Like 20 minutes every Shadow War.
Yeah. With that being said, I mean, we know that Blizzard watches, takes suggestions, thinks about things that we say. So I'm going to put my positive spin on it here. We just heard that there's going to essentially be 2 updates a month. Obviously, one is going to be Battle Pass themed and up and, like balance changes, and then one larger one. Heliquary, of course, as well, and events. We didn't even talk about the events, which is fine. But any of these changes can easily be implemented if they think that it's going to benefit the game, benefit the community, and the game is brand new. I mean, this game is just out. It's going to be out for a very long time, and with some correct decisions along the way, it can get stronger and stronger over time with a few good choices, a few good balance changes, and a few good modifications to the game. We literally just, got to the tip of the iceberg inside of this video. I feel like we could talk for an hour, if not more,
That'd
about
be very easy to do. Yeah,
uh,
it's a topic we could go down a rabbit trail on for sure.
which, you know what, it leads me to, we should probably, I don't know if you'd be, and I'm doing this in a video with you, but we should have you come through on the Immortal podcast, man. It's that platform we can
Yeah.
just have you talking about it. And
I actually watch those. Like that's one of bit of your content that I do. I like podcasts. I just because I have a something called One Wheel, which is like this big one wheel. It's with an electric motor, and I go riding around here in Alaska,
mhm.
riding around the trails and stuff. And I listen to podcasts with some earphones while I do it. And yours was one of the ones I listened to. The Mortal Portal, which I was like one that I'm on, obviously. And I like to go back and re-listen to those to see like if I'm annoying during the podcast, so I can get better at it. And then I listened to yours, and then some like comedy podcasts too, because I don't know. So anyway, long story short, your podcasts are interesting to listen to. I'll listen to the one with Red October too, although that wasn't the podcast. That was just a video, but I did listen to that one earlier when you called me.
Oh, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate you supporting the stuff. We'd love to have you on. Seems like you have quite a bit of knowledge, and honestly, you think a little bit differently than Nemo and I do, so it'll be awesome to have you on and chat about it. But hey, that's what we're going to end it for today. We should do this every once in a while, kind of make a routine out of it to kind of discuss the state of the game or whatnot. But I want to make sure that everyone knows where to find you. If you have never seen Darth Microtransaction, his YouTube channel for Diablo Immortal is DM Diablo Immortal. Darth Microtransaction Diablo Immortal. I'll be linking it down below. Go check him out. Thanks for coming through, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So I like talking about Diablo, so whoever wants to talk about Diablo, let's talk about Diablo. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. Anytime. But we're out of here. I'll see you guys with another video. Make sure you sub to both. Have a great day and be good.